Ever feel like playing a game of 18xx, but you don't want to deal with too many pesky players? Maybe you don't like laying track, running trains, complicated stock markets that aren't linear. What do you do? Well, I'm not sure why all those things would appeal to you or would not appeal to you if you like XX. But this here is a game that's designed for 2 players and contains a lot of the concepts in XX. It's a little different in the sense that a player, so you're not running individual companies and individual trains in the same way, but there's a similar feel. What you're running is these holding companies, and they own train companies. The train companies work very much like the trains themselves in an XX game, which is to say that they become obsolete, and they're a little different in that, for example, the first set is 2 trains. The second set is 3 trains. Okay, so I'm lying. Let's go. Okay, so the third set is D. You got a 3 train on one side, but you got a 4 company. Sorry, company, not train, on the other side, and the obsolescence is by company. All right, all fine and good. I'll go into a little bit more into the rules, etc., as we go, but as with any, there's, instead of private companies, there's investors. And they work kind of like privates would. They have some bonus that they provide. This guy provides 40% of a corporation and a company for that corporation to run. Or a train, if you'd rather, because they feel kind of like trains. Right. So each you have these, but you don't bid on them in the normal way. The way it happens is the first player picks one of them and says, "Okay, I'm going to set this at X price," and these are suggested prices for a first play, and I'll probably use them. The opponent gets to choose: do I want to pay? Do I want to take the investor, or do I want to take the money off it? And so you end up with a collection of investors and money that way. Let me see if you get. Yeah, everybody gets $200 to begin with, which isn't very much at all. When you start a corporation, it appears that you can set the price to it. These things are not clear to me yet. Yeah, it appears you get to set the price on it. So obviously, if you get this one, you probably want to end up setting it at the highest price, $100. Those prices are set. I don't remember what the limits are. I don't know. Anyhow, I'll get into that later. The rule book is amazingly tiny. I mean, it doesn't look too bad until you realize half of it's in German. It's honestly 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. Small pages. Very, very dense. Nothing's repeated. A lot's implied. If you don't know XX already, you're not going to make head or tail from this thing. I'm left with asking, oh wait, does that apply? And looking it up and finding there is like some little mention about that in some unreasonably hard to find place. For example, the company's going obsolete. The only mention is right here, which is sort of before all the rules and everything. so far I don't have any real questions that haven't been answered from it. Let me run through that initial bidding on the different investors, and I'll come back to you when that's done. So as an example, the first player has picked this investor, and instead of putting the 60 out that's suggested, he's decided to go with 65. He thinks this is a valuable investor. Second player is being more cautious, saying the rules probably know what's best, and grabs the cash and lets him have the investor. I'll finish out the rest of them. But the second player gets to pick 2 investors next, and then the first player gets to pick 1, in that order. Okay, I lied again. So the first one that the second player picked went for 60 bucks. He put it out at 60, the base value. Or, no, I'm sorry, he put it out at 50, the base value. The first one we already discussed. The second one went out for 50 at the base value. And the first player said, I want the cash. Second one, he's putting out what I think is very, very weak, and only putting out 25 bucks. He wants to limit cash in this game. Now, the first player says, okay, you're the one who's getting screwed then. I don't think priority deal's worth much. And now the first player gets one more pick, and he wants to go with this one, and he's going to put it at 45. Actually, let me see. Yeah, let me make sure he's got enough money. He's got only 250. He doesn't have a lot. Okay, and I'll make my decision here. So the second player took the cash for that one, and that, because this guy wasn't picked, he's out of the game. He won't be coming back. The shares he was holding and the company that he would have given to that corporation go back where they belong. Now we're going to move to the stock round. Now, I don't know who goes first. That's the problem. So yeah, it's not clear which player goes first in the stock round. I'm going to say whoever made the last choice here hands the priority essentially to the other player. We're going to use this as the priority for this. It's just a overview of the operating round and the stock round for that matter. A couple pieces of information about both. Okay, so this guy's got to make a choice as to whether or not he can start a company. I'll be back in a moment. So the second player had enough money to start a railroad at 60 bucks a share. He has $335 in treasury in his cash. He paid, 240 of that to get the president's certificate for the Marley, Scrooge, and Cratchit. Well, player one did not have that kind of money. He had 250 total, so he paid 180 to grab a 30% share in the same corporation. And now we're going to fill out, everybody's just going to buy that corporation because that's all there is of any value. So the company has 50% or more sold, 50% held by the second player, 30% by the first player. He wants to ride along and make some money. If he doesn't buy shares, he will get nothing for the rest of the game. So that gives the first player, or the second player, a really powerful position. Now, the corporation, or trust, or whatever, gets cash equal to its full value. It doesn't matter that there are some shares that aren't sold. As long as it's 50%, it gets cash equal to its full value. Then we follow the sequence of play for the operation here. Place tokens, pay withhold dividends, adjust share value, buy railroads, close surplus railroads. Okay. Tokens. Tokens indicate what you can own. Pluses say I can add things to my company. And I have 6 little tokens for this corporation. I think some of them don't have that many. Or, oh no, I have 6 tokens, not 8. Yeah. So, some of them have less, I guess. But this is a good one. And this indicates how many railroad corporations I can, or companies I can hold. Now I have an investor. To add my investor, I have to put a piece there. Then I may want to add train companies. And to add a train company, I have to add one and put a holding space for it. Add one, put a holding space for it. Now I have an extra token. I don't want to use this. I'll put it here. There's one other option I can use it for. I can put it down here and say I'm improving my track. And then it's a $10 bonus to my income. However, I have to have companies running for that to work. Okay, so I place the tokens, pay withhold dividends. I don't have anything running. I'd need companies that have trains on them, presumably. Unlike most XX games that I'm familiar with, that doesn't affect the price. Paying dividends would, it would send it up. But withholding does not. Adjust the share value, well, that's what we did. Buy railroads. I won. I can buy up to 4, but I can only hold 2. So I will only buy 2. And that cost me $200. Grab some change. And now I have 2 railroad companies under that corporation. Now, at the same time, and I've spent tokens to do this essentially, at the same time I can spend a token to add my investor. And next time I run, he'll add $20 because I have working railroads there. Okay? The final thing would be close surplus railroads. If I had more railroads than I have little doinkers, I'd have a problem. And I'd have to throw them away. Alright. Well, that's the end of the operating round. There's 2 operating rounds in between each set of stock rounds. And I'm not sure when this happens. At the end of each 2. Okay. Alright. So now we get to operate again, because this company, there's no other company. Now, the companies operate when they operate in the order shown. It's fixed throughout the game. They do not operate in stock value. Okay? So let's go and take a look at an operating round where we get to do something. I get to place tokens. Well, so notice one thing. I didn't need a token to hold him on the board. I have 2 corporations. I could buy another one. I could buy up to 2 more. And that would give me 4. That sounds like the best plan. Okay. Pay withhold dividends. Well, I make $100. I'm going to pay out $10 a share because I don't think I need the cash in my corporation all that badly. It's got cash. It's close to maximum trains. And if I'm going to swallow, the rule in 18XX is always swallow big. So I'll hand that money out in a moment, but he's going to get $30 and he's going to get $50. The price goes up 1. It's sort of a simplified XX. And now we go to buy railroads. And I'm going to buy 2 railroads. Uh-oh. Well, now we're at the B railroads. And they have 3s on the other side. So one could pay more and get a longer lasting, better railroad, or they can keep buying these cheapos. Okay. Oh, I lied about the amount made. It's not $100. It's 120. So it's going to be $12 a share that I pay out. And closing surplus railroads isn't going to happen. I'll hand that money out, and I think I'm going to split this up so the next part of the video will have, well, I don't know how many videos it's going to be, but the game will continue in the next video.